Hi, I'm Jim with Mountain West Sales, and I'm here today to answer some of our customers' most common fireplace questions. The short answer to this question is yes, but we need to fill in some details. If you are a person who doesn't pay attention to details, then you should not do this by yourself. You're putting fire in your home, and so it's very important that you follow all the manufacturer's installation instructions, but you also need to be aware of local codes, and you need to be aware of some basic construction techniques. Remember that if you're installing any of these products, gas, wood, pellet, fireplaces, or inserts, you're likely going to be putting a hole in your home, either in the roof or through the wall. And so you've got to know how to seal that and make it weather tight. If that's not something that's in your wheelhouse, then you may want to think about having professional installation. The other thing to think about is that these are really heavy products. So some wood stoves, for example, can weigh up to 600 pounds. So you need a plan for being able to get that off of your truck into your home and in place without hurting yourself. If you're able to follow all those instructions, there's nothing that's too difficult about any of these installations that you couldn't do it yourself. But there are some tips and tricks that you may need to know about. For example, you're installing a gas fireplace insert. That requires two flexible ducts that go up inside of your chimney to bring in fresh air and send out exhaust. Those ducts have to be lined up properly, and they have to be extended so that there aren't any kinks in the line when the installation is finished. So those are some of the things you may want to think about, or some things you may not know about that a professional installation would take care of. It's not complicated, and yet it's easy to go down the wrong path and get the wrong materials. For example, if you're installing a wood stove, that consists of an interior chimney and an exterior chimney. And those two parts are essential. You cannot run the interior chimney through the exterior parts of your building. So once you reach the ceiling, you're changing to what's called a Class A chimney. That's very important because the clearances around that pipe are much smaller than they are for the interior chimney. If you try to run that interior chimney all the way through, which would be less expensive, you'll end up with a very dangerous condition where the pipe is too close to combustibles. It's all about getting the right materials, which is where we come in. We can help you with that. So we've seen a lot of DIY horror stories when it comes to installing your own gas stove, pellet stove, or wood stove. We actually responded to a call one time where a contractor had installed a wood-burning fireplace but had not installed any chimney at all. So they were burning a wood fire, and the exhaust from that fire was going straight into their building cavity. Extremely dangerous. Just someone who didn't pay attention to the installation manual. We had another situation where we actually installed a fireplace for a customer who was building his own home. After we installed it, he decided he wanted to move it. Rather than calling us, he just did it himself. But he didn't pay attention to the clearances to combustibles, and he ended up having a fire in his house. So it's very important that you pay attention to those details and get those things right. Okay, I hope I've answered your questions about installing your own gas, wood, or pellet stove. This is something we can help you with at Mountain West Sales. So come down and ask us some questions.